So it's going. When we're done, off, shut that, it stops, and then let me know when it's come up.
Okay.
I'm not sitting through this crap.
My phone, it's on now.
Monday. Well, it's supposed to be back.
I didn't hear that. I just,
She walked down and said, I'm not sitting through this.
okay. I didn't.
He knew.
That's okay, and I can get to sit through this.
I got a question, Carol. Here on the page, should this say Northeast Hawaii Corner, like this one does?
I can change all of this. Probably. Yeah, right. And this is, so then I also heard, this UI is so
And
long,
I gotta take,
that Iowa is better.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna,
Iowa's
I
a
think we need to
standard.
look at
Iowa's a
Iowa.
standard.
So let's look at Iowa's and Purdue's and see if it's, and I retired all this, so there's probably gonna be a lot of.
So,
Do we know if he's sending your,
I haven't heard anything.
I don't either, I'm sending
Hello.
messages.
Well, I know he said it next Saturday.
You can't.
Anymore.
No. I need to talk to you anyway. I got some stuff I want to sell.
Yeah.
We got a three drawer oak chest. About this tall. And a bucket hinge. Some other, I got this, it's a drying rack. It has a shelf on it and the things extend out that you can put stuff over to dry, like towels and stuff. Mother had one and I have one, I don't want it anymore. I've got some stuff I thought I'd just put it in the garage and we got a dish cover. I think Chris bought it. Why, I don't know.
Oh, I know. Okay.
And I know some that don't work.
I know where Cisco is, and I know where the auction place was. I know where- Okay, right on the main drag by the, by the grain bins. Yes, okay, yeah. Is there still stuff in there then?
Just give me 1 minute, people.
That's normal. Normal jeans. Yeah, but like Norman, yeah. I mean, if she wanted it, you might as well just quit. That's where.
I got that same.
She used to make your life miserable, and if I would have been honest, because I wanted it for me, it wasn't for Krista. My mom used to mad at me, hit me, and kick me, and yeah.
Should we just go?
I watched
We could be.
Noel Yanis one day run her out.
6:32.
Just because.
Yeah, I just call
Okay, it's 6:32. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Hopefully Heath will
Yeah.
run in. So we've got Carol, Mitchell, and Jeremy.
it. If you wanna wait till he gets here and do some public life.
Yeah, I'm going to do public body comment first. And just make sure it's an agenda item. Do you all have an agenda? Just make sure it's an agenda item and try to make it like 3 minutes or something. You probably all know why we're here tonight, so. I'll take anybody for public body comment. You're gonna be a quiet group tonight? That's all right. It's the eclipse. Tricia?
Yes, I'm asking Mr. Williams, has your position changed any on the farm?
I guess we'll find out as the discussion proceeds.
I didn't hear that.
I asked if his position has changed any on the farm.
Position, as in what? What do you mean?
I can't hear what he
I
said.
said, what do you, I'm not understanding your question.
Well, his original position was that it was unconstitutional, it was taxation without representation, so I'm asking if his opinion has changed on that.
Then we'll find out here in the committees and also the board.
Yes, that's, I was asking him specifically that question.
Oh, you mean you're asking Jerry?
I was asking Jeremy Williams that
Okay.
question, yes.
I will listen to the discussion and we'll find out if it's changed or not.
Is the other person coming?
We haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from him, nobody's heard from him.
We let him know, but
You could probably fix those windows.
I don't know how to fix this. Boy, it's right there.
I think you just have to move the, hopefully they will.
I'm afraid to touch anything.
better?
A little bit.
You need the other one.
That sure helps.
Keep turning, keep turning.
That's better.
That's good. That's good.
Nice.
Well done. And the window didn't fall out.
Sit down, wait for this.
It's cold.
Yep, somebody else can say it too. Okay, any other public body comment?
I think they should farm the farm. And it's getting the time of the year now to get somebody in there to do it. That's just my opinion.
Anybody else, public body comment?
I would like to know if they don't farm the farm, how are they going to make up for that hole in income? You know, are we going to have a tax increase, or does anybody have any idea how they're going to make up for that hole?
I don't have a clue.
Well, we got a $7 million budget, and 40, 50, 60,000, whatever the profit would be. I mean, farming's very, very variable, so 40,000 isn't a lot in a budget, that's for sure. In a $7 million budget, but. Just saying.
Might be a good question Thursday night.
I don't know.
Hopefully we'll be farming, so we'll
Well, my opinion is, you know, I'm on a limited income. I am retired. I am not able to work. If I was 30 years younger and I had more expenses, I would go out and get a job. But I'm old now and I can't go get a job. So if I could get a big tax increase, I don't know what I'll do. So I'm all for farming the farm.
Any other public body comment? Public body comment? Jeff?
Yeah, what's your intentions if this doesn't get farmed? Because what's growing out there now is a far cry from a cover crop. That is weeds.
I understand that.
So what's your intentions if it doesn't get farmed?
Well, we got on the agenda as a contingency plan if we can't get enough votes to cash rent, custom farm, whatever. So a cover crop costs money, there's no doubt about it. You'd have to sow oats and clover or something. Like or rye, I suppose, I don't know. I have run some numbers on it, it's $10,000 to $12,000 for cover crop, minimum probably, so
What are you planting?
oats.
And who's gonna do that?
Well, you have to bid it out, I would imagine, the custom part of it.
Actually, that is on the agenda. For some reason.
Oh, it's not on
Cover
there?
crop. But we could go under new business.
Number 8 isn't on the agenda.
That's
Discussion.
soil.
It was on the agenda, so.
The one I have it isn't, but if you have it. What?
That's what Jessica sent out, it's number 8 on the agenda.
Was it revised?
I'll check and see if there was a revision sent out.
No, that looks good. I'll go through it.
So it is on there?
This is the old
I got
one.
a
This
copy.
says, this one says the custom farm, and there's another one that says the cash lease. Any other public body comment? It would have been Friday if there was a revision.
She sent a bunch of them out today altogether, like 3 different agendas that came out today.
This was Friday already.
You mean the farm committee agenda?
No,
Farm, highway,
Oh, okay.
and they all 3 were there together.
I think that was last year. But we can bring it up.
It's not something you can vote on, though.
What's posted
We
downstairs?
can put it on the agenda for Thursday.
We could.
Yeah, you can. We originally had cover crop towards the end, so we would at least have some kind of contingency to not have weeds out there, so, but it's apparently didn't get put on for tonight.
We've had a lot of back and forth.
Caroline's had a lot of back and forth, and,
Looks like they're both on the county website though, just FYI. It shows there's 2. And they're a little bit different.
I wonder what got posted downstairs.
Can we go get it?
yes.
You just can't tell, it doesn't show whether it was, here it shows filed April 5th on one, but the other one, you don't see it. It's not marked when it was filed.
And I will do a little public body comment, and kind of answer your question a little bit, Jeff. It really wasn't a question, but it's a concern of yours, and maybe all of you, but, you know, we just hadn't been sitting on our hands all winter, not looking for an option. We've tried to get together with some schools that just wouldn't pan out. Carol and I went, and Bobby went to economic development. What's the name of that group?
Economic development, yeah.
With Brenda Elder on daycare, and they can't do it because they got a lot, there'd be a conflict for them because they got a budget from the county, so we've not been what? Go ahead. You're shaking your head, go ahead.
A twitch in my neck.
What's that?
Said I had a twitch in my neck.
But, you know, we've been trying to do some things, we ain't just been sitting around, so.
Well, we've seen no action, heard nothing.
Yeah.
0.
I mean, when you was on the committee, did you do some things behind the scenes with a couple committee members, or a member, or?
It didn't take me a year, 5 months to bring it back. Yeah, there was a lot of ideas brought up.
Yeah. Well, I'm just letting you know, so.
Says it's on, but it's not doing anything, so. Any other public body comment? Anybody else? Public body comment? I think we'll pass that under you.
Is it too late to buy insurance?
Well, the deadline for crop insurance is March 15th. Now, there might be some extenuating circumstances depending on the farmer where they can enterprise that in with their insurance, I don't know. You know, if somebody bids on cash rent, or if that's what we pass or whatever. I don't know what the deadline, you got any ideas on that, Jeff? The deadline on
How you
that?
gonna do it on custom farm?
What's that?
If you decide to custom farm, how you gonna do it then?
Well, you guys did it one other year, or was it 22?
Last year for
I
Kenny.
think it was 22, with the airport or something.
Jim Schwerman was able to get insurance for
Right.
us because he had insurance with the airport.
At the
so-
county airport
Yeah.
farm. So I don't know about crop insurances, you know, if you cash rent it, you know, depends on the.
Cash rent don't make any difference to the county.
I don't, it does, not for the county, but if you cash rent it to,
As an
Farmer.
individual, you can.
what's that?
It's called added acres. An individual can.
Right.
And as a county custom farming, good luck. I don't know if Jim will do it again.
But I don't know about cash rent, added acres, what that deadline might be, I don't know. I don't.
That's right up to the time you plant.
Yeah, it could be, I don't know, so I'll probably try to call Greg tomorrow and ask him about that, actually.
Right.
My insurance agent, for one I used to have, I don't farm no more, so I don't handle that.
Anybody else?
It's the same one that's on the second floor to sign.
Yeah, it's the one that I have, it's the revised one.
Is
For
that,
the crop company.
okay, well, we can put that on,
I can still throw it on
Yeah.
Thursday.
big deal.
Okay, if there's no more public body comment, we'll get started. First item on the agenda is to discuss and vote on an ordinance concerning the county farm. Mitchell?
I would make a motion to pass a draft that we got drafted up, and we can read it if you want to. We got copies if you want to look at it, according to 1076 now, which is 55 ICLS, or ILCS 5/5-10.49.2, talks about you have to have an ordinance passed by the county board, and that's what this is. So I just make a motion to approve this potential ordinance draft.
Do you want to read it?
I can if you want me to.
Read it.
Read it,
You want to
please.
second it? You guys have been working on it together.
No, I've not seen it.
Well, you got to get a second, and
Oh,
we'll,
you can second it.
somebody else second it.
I thought you guys had worked on it.
No, he's done it all by himself.
Oh, well, I'll second it then.
Well, I didn't do it all by myself. But I'll read the first page. My mouth is really dry, and I'll pass it off. Shelby County Board Ordinance, then dash, so. Whereas it is desirable in the 1800s for Shelby County to own property with primary purpose and use of as tillage, acres, and living arrangements to be used as a traditional county poor farm. And whereas Shelby County acquired such property in the 1800s for exclusive use of those citizens in need and desiring solace in a county poor farm. And whereas Shelby County owned property and allowed those in need to utilize the Shelby County Poor Farm for the purposes of meeting the needs of the poor and less fortunate of Shelby County. And whereas the state of Illinois, through various agencies and organizations, began providing and meeting the needs of the poor and less fortunate through various programs through the public aid system. And whereas, due to the various programs offered by the state of Illinois, Shelby County is no longer solely responsible to meet the needs of the poor and less fortunate through the county poor farm. And whereas the Shelby County Board has a desire to ensure proper maintenance, care, practice, wise stewardship of all county-owned properties while ensuing a positive relationship with all adjacent nearby landowners of the Shelby County Poor Farm. Now, therefore, be it resolved as members of the Shelby County Board in accordance with 55 law, which used to be 1076, that the property owned by Shelby County, known as the Shelby County Poor Farm, is no longer necessary, appropriate, or required for the use as originally acquired. Be it further resolved, the property known as County Port Farm shall be hereby officially recognized by description and parcel numbers, and then the parcel numbers, I'm not going to read all that. There's 2 parcels out there. Be it further resolved, pursuant of the 55 to 10.492 law, Shelby County may, by 3/4 vote of the full county board then holding office, enter into a cash lease, crop sharing arrangement, or custom farming arrangement of the Shelby County Farm. Be it further resolved, the Shelby County Board will not engage in any, Be it further resolved, the Shelby County Board will not engage in any cash lease contracts or crop sharing contracts for a period exceeding 5 years. Be it further resolved that any and all ordinance, resolutions, and other acts heretofore enacted concerning this subject matter be, and the same are hereby repealed. Be it further resolved that the Shelby County Farm operations be placed under the oversight of the duly appointed members of the Shelby County Board's Shelby County Farm Committee. Be it further resolved that the Shelby County Farm Committee will be required to have approval and consent of all actions or activities pertaining to the Shelby County Farm. Cash lease contracts, crop sharing arrangements, or custom farming arrangements will be sourced by the Shelby County Farm Committee and brought to the Shelby County Board for approval. Be it further resolved that the Shelby County Farm Committee will engage in necessary actions and activities that it may be required from time to time to carry out the wishes of the Shelby County Board as it pertains to the Shelby County Farm. The chairperson of the Shelby County Farm Committee, along with the chairperson of the Shelby County Board, will have the power and authority to sign and engage in acts previously approved by the Shelby County Board. Be it further resolved, in case of emergency regarding the Shelby County Farm, said emergency shall be communicated with the Shelby County Farm Committee as well as the County Board Chairman. Advised from the county's legal advisor will dictate the appropriate actions to properly handle the immediate emergencies while an emergency meeting of the Shelby County Board will be convened to determine the next steps to handle said emergency. And it's got approved and adopted by blah, 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 and the signatures all required. And then the yea and the nay. So we do have to have a 3/4 majority vote of the seated county board members. And this was all drafted in accordance with the 55 law, so the 55/5/5-10.49.2. So it was written against that or with that in parallel. So.
Any discussion?
I don't have any discussion.
None that I can think of off the top of my head.
And it's pretty much has it all laid out there.
Well, by that law, it says we have to have an ordinance before we do anything else. It has to be approved by the Shelby County Board, so.
I have a motion and a second. Shall we vote on the ordinance? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anybody? All in favor? Step number 1. Okay. Number 4, discuss and vote to cash rent the custom farm for 2024.
I would make that motion to cash rent the Shelby County Port Farm for 2024 and 2025, correct?
Yes, actually, that's what the bid form says, is
It's
2024.
a 2-year lease.
Yes. Bear with me. I will second that. And we discussed this, that it would be good to do it for 2 years. When I talked to the man at the USDA office, he said most farmers like to do it for 3 years so they can plan ahead, but we thought maybe 2 years to start out. 2 years would be good. On this 2-year cash lease bid agreement, which if it passes the board on Thursday night, Jessica will take care of putting the bids in the paper, all that. So this, I can read some of this.
Well, I will say something on that.
Okay,
We got a couple of leases, we haven't really got a super final copy yet, Minco and whoever wants to be part of that. We'll pass it off to all committee members, I'm sure, for approval, we
right.
need to get that done just today. We gotta get that done by Tuesday noon.
This one this was the U of I version?
That was the U of I version. The front one, that's just 2 pages, which is a pretty simple bid sheet, basically just says Shelby County will seek cash lease bids from interested farm operators to cash rent the Shelby County farm. The leasee will be responsible for all expenses of the farming operation, including machinery, fuel, seed, fertilizer, but not limited to these inputs. The county will be responsible for soil testing. The county is responsible for limestone by recommendation of soil testing results. Then there's a description of the property. And then price per acre for 196.3 acres for planting and harvest. This lease agreement includes all mowing excluding the cemetery. The minimum requirement for nutrients will be 200 pounds of potash and 200 pounds of phosphate per acre per year for corn, 100 pounds of potash, 200 pounds of phosphate for wheat, and 200 pounds of potash for soybeans. The tenant is responsible for liability insurance. This lease does not restrict the public from entering onto the county farm parcels, and it has the 2 parcel numbers. The tenant will be responsible for the 2024-2025 real estate taxes. The 22 real estate taxes, had they been paid on time, were $68.94.78. The tenant should take into consideration acreage surrounding utility poles Prairie Power has purchased as an easement for positioning the utility poles. Maps of the power lines can be viewed at the county clerk's office. This most likely will not affect the 2024 season, and I talked to somebody about that. They didn't think it would be going through this year. Bid packets will be available at the clerk's office. Sealed bids will be accepted by the Shelby County Clerk's Office until 4 p.m. on April 30th, 2024. The Farm Committee has the right to accept and deny any and all bids. Sealed bids will be opened April 30th, 2024 at a Farm Committee meeting, 6 p.m. Shelby County Courthouse.
And there's something else I just thought about, we need to research a little bit or find out about. If the farm, the leasee has crops in there and they come in and tear the crops up, we need to find out if there's the contract between, or the agreement between the county and the Prairie Power's got that in there.
Yeah.
Just now thought of.
Okay.
Because they can tear quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah. I didn't read because I didn't do the description of the property, but the lease agreement will be for 2 years, starting May 1st, 2024. The farm contract shall begin May 1st, 2024 and terminate December 31st, 2025. Now, 55 ILCS doesn't say anything about opening up the bids at a full county board.
But
They can be opened in committee.
They can be open in
Committees
committee,
probably
so
do.
we can do that, and then we don't have to have a full board.
or somebody's got objections on it.
Well, the bids still have to go to the full board, but they can be
Right.
opened in
Yeah.
committee, yeah.
Have any discussion on?
I'm sorry I didn't separate it.
Pardon me?
I'm sorry I didn't separate it.
Beth's.
Oh, that's what that is. Couldn't figure out where
Inside
that
outside.
came from. Any discussion? We bring this up to the full county board on Thursday and
Need to vote on
vote on.
it. Well, voted on here.
You ready to vote?
Yep.
Yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You both said aye, right?
Yeah.
Okay, motion passes. The next item is we're gonna skip custom farming. That's the next one on the agenda. We don't want to do both. Is that all right, both of you, we skip custom farming? Discuss where the farm bid ads are placed and for how long, not limited to the county website, Beecher City Journal, the Shelbyville Eagle, and the Golden Prairie News. I did talk to the Beecher City Journal, and they do not have a paper come out on April 22nd. Jessica said all of these papers would get everybody in the county. And she could put it on Facebook and on the website.
I was just gonna say, she told me she's gonna reestablish a clerk's office Facebook page. So that would be an additional place to alert people.
Yes. And I can't think of, I mean, those were all that she suggested, and if she didn't suggest anything else.
Carol, would you read those again that she suggested?
The county website, the Beecher City Journal, the Shelbyville Eagle, and the Golden Prairie News.
Where's the Golden Prairie News?
Do you know where that is, Sharon?
Assumption.
Assumption? And do you know, are there any others, Sharon? that-
You know,
Sullivan?
I mean, you can always go to Payne and Sullivan too.
Payment would be a good one.
Yeah, Payne and Sullivan.
It's all my company, so I really shouldn't say.
I will suggest that to Jessica. We don't need to make a motion on that or
No.
anything, do we? I mean, this is just between, it's not going before the full
It
board.
just says discuss, it don't say
Discuss
vote.
where.
It just says discuss, no vote.
Okay.
I don't see it, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna get some opposition here, I think. All right, I have on here to discuss and vote to send the 2022 county farm real estate taxes to Finance Committee for payment. And I'll tell you why. Okay, so this is how I look at it. Do I have to make a motion first, or
Probably.
discuss it first?
So you probably gotta make a motion.
Okay, I make a motion that we discuss the 2022 farm taxes.
That we discuss them?
All right, Jerry.
You can just, go ahead and just discuss.
Discuss and vote on the taxes.
Yeah, I'm fine with going ahead and discussing
Just
prior to the
discuss,
motion.
Okay, all right.
It's a committee meeting.
Okay, yeah. So, I'm looking at the taxes for the farm. When we pay the taxes for the farm, it is not taxpayer money. It's money that's generated from the sale of the crops. So last year, we got $117,000 for wheat, probably netted 50,000 or something, I don't know for sure. The year before, we got 174,000 for soybeans. That's not taxpayer money. That's money that's generated from the sale of those crops. So from that money, it goes into the general fund, but the taxes should be paid from those dollars. It's not taxpayer dollars. So you're not paying for the taxes. None of these people out here are paying for the taxes. So I look at the tax bill, and for the Shelbyville schools, because we have not paid the 22 taxes, they have not received $4,210.97. I don't think that's fair to the school system to not get that money. The Shelby County has not received, and the IMRF has not received $1,090.62. The ambulances. Rose Township has not received $244.42, and Rose Roads has not received $375.39. Now, not too long ago, the County Highway Department needed the use of a road grader, and Rose Township loaned them their road grader at no cost. So we're not paying Rose Township the money that they're due. We use their equipment, but we're not paying them their taxes, and I don't think that's quite fair. That's my thinking, so.
Yeah, and I don't know about the road grader, or when you said the road grader?
It was a road grader, and I know that they were asked to just make sure it had gas in it, when it was returned.
And I think maybe Larry can, he's the road commissioner, I mean, there's a lot of trading back and forth
Yeah.
at different times.
Yeah, I mean, we trade in between the townships, and I've worked for the county before, and I never charged them anything.
Right.
But he could have,
Yeah.
There could be. I'm just,
Well, yeah,
this is a
but,
hypothetical
just,
thing,
yeah.
Please
He
scratch
could
it.
have charged them for using it for the hours on the road grader.
I think it's just to scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Exactly.
Whatever, good neighbor thing or whatever.
But I don't think it's fair to us to not pay Rose Township the money that's due them.
Yeah.
And like I
Well,
say, it's not taxpayer money.
Hasn't this been pushed to the full floor of the board before? It's just.
I don't think it's ever been explained. I mean, people just look at the taxes. Right now, there's $330 in fees and fines for
Well,
not
I guess
paying.
my question was, this has been on the big board, I'm just gonna call it big board.
It has.
On the floor of the,
Twice.
Yes.
is it twice?
I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember all the arguments, but maybe you can weigh in on that a little more, but it's up to you.
Yeah. If the revenue from the sale of grain went into its own account and not into the general fund, then your initial statements would make absolute perfect logical sense. But since the revenue from the sale of the crop goes in the general fund, and it's legally required to go there, it can't be set aside and put somewhere else. If it could be, we could just pay the taxes out of that. But instead, the revenue from the sale of the crop goes in the general fund. It's the same pot that we do all pay into no matter where you're at in the county.
I know.
And so the money doesn't just come from the sale of the crop, it does come from everyone. Some of it comes from the sale of the crop,
A lot of it came from the sale of the crop.
but some of it comes from taxes and other places that the county gets money from that goes into the general fund. So,
But we're not allowed to put it into a special fund, so, I mean, that's.
and that has been,
Yeah.
those legal restrictions, requirements, limitations have been some of the biggest obstacles, continual obstacles that 3 boards and several different farm committees now have tackled with, or have tried to tackle. So,
I'd just say skip over it. If you want to push it to the full floor, you can. I mean, they can,
I mean, finance meets tomorrow.
I think they've already got them bills on their desk, don't they? You're not in finance, are you? Or are you?
and their agendas set.
Teresa's on.
Oh,
that.
you're on.
Okay.
You want to expound on that? I mean, that.
Well, I don't know what's there. They're in folders down there, and we will pick the folders up tomorrow and pay them.
I mean, the taxes have been on that committee
Yeah, they
Table
passed
before?
out of the committee before and got rejected by the full board.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Got it.
We have to
But I-
have, there's no way.
If we could send this to finance again and maybe explain it too, they're either gonna pay them or they're
That's-
gonna pull them out.
Isn't, you weigh on what you want, or you can, if you would. Doesn't the clerk push them to the committee, to the finance committee, the
They're,
bills?
if they're in a folder, if she's been told to put them in the folder, all the bills come to us in folders, and we go through them. And like I said, those taxes have been before the whole finance committee and passed that committee
Gotcha,
and got rejected by the full board.
gotcha.
They got pulled.
I think they've gone to finance a couple times and they've passed once and didn't pass once, if I remember right.
That could be,
Yeah.
Maybe third time's a charm.
By law, we have to pay them, though.
Well, you got $400 worth of fines already.
My question is gonna be, why is the government entity being charged taxes?
The land tax, you mean.
Yeah, why are we being charged taxes?
Well,
think-
we've tried,
It's irresponsible, that's why.
they've tried 2 different times to do the non-home, exemption with the IDR, and they denied us twice. One in 21 and one in, been 22, or did it come in in first part of
21 and then
23?
last year.
Yeah, 21 of last year.
Yeah, so they denied us exemption 2 different times.
See,
And I don't think we're gonna get exemption. I think we need to pay the taxes just like
It
everybody
depends
else
on the
pays their
practices of the
taxes.
farm,
And-
you know, what they,
And
Consider.
get it over with, and then,
but the law didn't get signed in, the bill didn't get signed into law until July, August,
August 4th.
August 4th, yeah. So I don't know if that, well, that application would have been in after that, so never mind.
if we can get through these 2 years and we cash rent it and the farmer pays the taxes,
Yeah, statutorily, you can do that.
then we're done. Then we don't have to worry about it.
let me make a proposal, toss an idea out there.
Yeah.
Any bid that comes in for the lease that we just approved to send to the full board, any bid that comes in is going to be based on a farmer's expenses and expected or hopeful revenue. If we were to put into that the farmer would pay those.
But it is.
No, I don't mean going forward. I mean those.
Oh, you mean,
no.
That's fair.
Then he would submit a lower bid
Yeah.
to offset having to
Compensate.
pay that.
to compensate.
Yeah.
I don't think we can ask a farmer to pay the 22 taxes.
Well, but he would just submit a lower bid per acre to cover the cost. He would take that, what was it, almost 7,000, 6,800? And he
It's
would,
7,000, yeah.
7,000, and divide that by the 196.3 tillable acres, and give that much per acre less on his bid
$30 an acre,
$30
$35,
an
whatever
acre.
it is.
to cover. And then you wouldn't worry about the county paying taxpayer money in taxes. And going forward in the lease, it says he would pay. So he could adjust his bid based on that.
Right.
As a farmer, I wouldn't do that.
And
I wouldn't pay back taxes.
And I understand that. I'm just tossing that out there. I'm not, it just occurred. So.
Tim,
That's irresponsible.
I need some input from Tim.
What?
Would you, as a farmer,
Not unless there was something else given by the county. In other words, if I were to pay the back taxes, then the county would all have to help me some with seed to make up for those back taxes that I pay, or
Well, yeah.
something like that.
Your bid would just be based according to that, I guess, $30 an acre less. If you're gonna bid a number of 200, it'd be 170, I guess, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if that's legal and proper. I don't know.
But that, it's just a potential solution to throw out there. It solves the county's problem. The farmer can compensate by adjusting his bid appropriately.
Other than that, I think the board rejected it 2 times now. the taxes?
I think so.
That's what I
And,
thought.
and understand that's a one-time deal. That's a one-time deal for the situation that we're in currently. Because going forward, it's in the lease that we just recommended that the farmer will pay the taxes. So
For
he's
24 and 25.
for 24 and 25.
Not for 22 and 23.
Right, but we could amend that and put
That's $14,000, $15,000. That's,
Well, over a
There's-
2-year period, yeah.
There's only, there's only 1 year of taxes that are unpaid, aren't there?
well, if we didn't pay 22, are we gonna pay 23?
Well, they will if this cash rate
This-
lease gets passed.
No, no. This person isn't farming until 24. He won't be paying taxes
Okay,
until
gotcha,
this
gotcha,
year.
Gotcha.
So we have the 23 taxes that probably won't get paid.
23's coming up.
Yeah, it'll be coming up in July.
Gotcha.
That's $15,000, $16,000. I wouldn't pay $16,000 to do that.
Isn't the law someone has to pay the tax? It doesn't make a difference how the county board voted if you have to pay the tax.
I guess
Well, if
it's
the person don't pay the taxes, it goes on for sale.
No, this doesn't.
not.
It's not, it won't go up.
This doesn't, that's the whole
That's the
thing.
difference
This
between
doesn't.
private property and public
Yeah.
property.
Yeah,
So
it
when he
won't go
pays these
to-
taxes in, does it go into the general fund?
What'd you say, Jim?
When he pays these taxes in, does it go into the general fund, or just robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Yeah.
Well, statutorily, you can put that in a cash rent lease to pay the taxes.
Carol, when you ask all these other counties, didn't the counties pay the taxes? Or someone did?
About half of them paid the taxes and about half of them, the county paid the taxes. It was, yeah.
You mean on a lease agreement?
Someone just has to
Yeah.
pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the lease agreement.
Well, I don't know.
Well, it's something to, it may require some legal advice. There may be something that we need to adjust. Tim said he'd like, if he was gonna do that, he'd like help with some seed or something. Now, I don't know, perhaps there's some way to work something in. I don't know if it's help with seed, because then we get into the Investment Act, which says you can't use taxpayer money to invest in anything with any risk, but perhaps there's some way, I mean, it could be a lot of things. There could be a lot of things to put in there that we could offset that expense with, as long as it's not coming out of the taxpayer account to pay the taxes.
That's good though.
We could do many things to finagle that around, I'm sure.
That's twice.
We don't really have time
No,
this year
that's
to
right.
do all that. What we need to do now is, we've already got the farm bid up.
Hmm.
Send the taxes one more time, see what happens. All they can do is say no
Just,
and move on.
just have you put that on the agenda and see where it goes.
Well, I'll send it to finance. I'll have Jessica put it in a folder and send it to finance. If they reject it, they reject it, and then we go from, the main thing is to get stuff done this year, to farm this year. That's the main thing.
And we can come back to the taxes
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, we can do that.
Weren't we already given the rule that it's not tax exempt?
That's correct.
Yeah, it's not tax exempt.
Two different times.
Yeah.
Two different times.
One time in '21, and then just last year, Erica sent it off again.
But we made enough money on
We made
crops
enough
last year to
money.
pay the taxes to support the farming operation.
Yeah, we
I mean,
did.
that's the way farmers do it. When it's their ground, they make money off they put their money out, they get a crop in, and they hope to get a good crop in August, September, October. And that's income, and they take that, and then they pay their cash rent or equipment cost, whatever. But, I mean, that's the way this works. To saddle someone who wasn't part of the equation with back real estate taxes, I think is very unprofessional. I think it's I don't think you'd want to do that as a person. You'd be like, oh, I want to pay your car payment and mine too. It's the same principle. It's something they had no use of. If the farm made money, the money that the farm made, which we weren't going to get anywhere else, we didn't have to do anything to get it. That money needs to be used to pay the taxes. Because if we've been beating this horse since the last 2 years, there's not going to be an agreement about getting together about seed beans or anything. That's not realistic. We need to cash rent, quit having all these fines and stuff on the taxes, and just pay them. Because from now on out, you could just put it into the lease agreement and it's done. And then it's legal, we're not paying a bunch of fines. we've had too many things come up now that have had fines and late payments, and we can't do that anymore. I mean, it's important that that be addressed once and for all, and we get past it.
So I'm gonna make a motion to send the tax bills to finance tomorrow. Do I get a second?
You can, I'll second to go to finance.
We're not tax exempt.
I just second to go to finance.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay. Okay. Next item on the agenda. Sorry. Discuss and vote for KSI to soil test the county farm. Now, I just gave you that piece of paper. Joe Trimble gave this to us last year for soil testing, and he told me today that this is still good.
The prices, you mean?
Yeah, the prices are still good.
So, I'm gonna be clear and open here. I work here. So if this is gonna go, the two of you are gonna have to make the motion and the second.
Yeah.
It requires 3 votes to get out of committee, 3 affirmative votes. So I will vote to send it to the full board if there's a motion and a second.
Okay.
In the full board meeting, I will have to vote present, and I just want everyone to know that.
Right.
I would vote present in the committee meeting, but I believe it should get out of committee.
Yep.
And so in order to make sure that happens, it has to get by all 3 of us. So I will vote for it in committee, but I won't be able to Thursday.
Right.
Maybe a motion, well, stop here for, we've got 3 different options here. So
And I
last,
forget which one he said was the best.
well, I guess.
Was it the 4-point?
That's a matter of opinion, probably. I think we went with the 3.3 grid last time we tried to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to do the 3.3
Tim, did you
grid.
have something?
I sort of what was done previously.
What's that now?
Do you have any idea what they did before?
Before when?
If I remember right,
Previous testing?
It's
Did they do-
it's been a long time.
Oh, you mean how long ago
Oh,
the
yeah.
soil tested?
Well, I
It's
just
like-
wondered, did they do a grid or did they just do a blanket or what, you know?
That's like 13 years ago,
Okay.
so.
I can tell you that he highlighted, or maybe we need to do the motion first and then we can discuss it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to do the 3.3 grid with
Mitchell,
about 1045 per acre.
okay. And
Illinois Department of Revenue, Shelby County Farm Ground, not tax exempt.
yeah,
We already.
that's what we said.
You know that.
That's what we said. I seconded, okay.
You
So
don't
now,
have no choice.
If we sent her to committee, Jake.
no, we didn't actually.
Well, because you didn't vote.
No, because I voted no, and it requires 3.
Well, I was wondering about that when you made that other statement.
Yeah, I was gonna come back to that here in a minute after the soil testing.
okay.
So
You
you
need to
can't.
vote yes again?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you want to put it on the full board for Thursday.
You can do
You
that.
can go ahead and do that, and that's fine.
So you're not gonna allow me to send it to finance?
That's when the Illinois Department of Revenue has determined the Shelby County Farm Ground parcels are not tax exempt. Their determination was based on the assertion the property is not an exempt use.
Yes, we just went through that.
How do you keep from paying?
Huh?
How do you keep from paying? You can't.
Okay, so now, some discussion on the soil testing. So Joey highlighted in the yellow parts, the 4.4 grid with a test number 2 at $8.90 an acre. The 3.3 with test 2 is $10.45 an acre. 2.5A grid with test number 2 is $11.40 an acre. He also highlighted the color maps at 25 cents an acre and thought that would be a good idea
I
too.
don't have a problem with that.
They're nice, yeah.
Okay.
You want to Did his motion, did you second his motion?
Yes, I did.
Okay, you might want to amend your motion to include the color
Yeah,
maps.
I'll amend my motion, original motion to add in or amend the 25 cents an acre for the colored map. And since we're on soil testing,
Hang on, if you want to second his motion to
oh,
amend.
it's to amend, yeah.
Just a second. So did you make a motion to do a certain grid?
3.3,
Oh, I didn't have that.
yeah.
I thought we were going to do something. 3.3 with the 25-cent color map.
And then I made the motion to amend
Okay.
my original motion to put in 25 cents an acre for the colored map. So then we have to,
Now we have to go back
Second.
and I second the revised, the amended
the bid
motion.
version. Yeah.
Now we have to go back and make another motion
You vote on the
to
amendment.
vote on the
Vote on the amendment.
amended motion.
Yeah, you just vote on the amended motion.
Dear. Somebody else wants to do this. Okay, so now we're going to vote on the amended motion. Anybody else want to write this down?
You vote on the amendment, and then you vote on the amended motion. Correct. So there's two votes.
Okay, let's vote on the amendment. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Nobody? All in favor? Vote on the amendment. Now we're going to go back
Vote on the amended
and
motion.
vote on the amended motion of 3.3, 10.45 an acre, and add the 25 cents an acre for color maps. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No votes.
And since we're on soil test, I should have said a discussion, but I'll say whatever.
What's that?
On the cash rent lease, I think there's in there somewhere that the county provides the limestone because of the pH level, according to soil test, because I'm sure the pH level is probably going to come back a little low possibly, so the county, if it's low, we probably need to bring it up to specs. If they call for 2 ton of lime per acre, well, that's what we have to do. Opinion?
That's something we'll have to look at the results and come back with.
Right, yeah. Get the results first, whenever there's it. Maybe they'll have it on that April 30th, by the April 30th meeting, I don't know. Did they do them that quick?
If it'll quit raining.
Oh, yeah.
First, we don't have to take that to the full board, do we?
What?
What, the soil
The
test?
soil test.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You spending money?
Yeah, that's spending money that has to,
Okay, well, we can't even ask them until Friday, so.
Thursday? You mean
That's
KSI?
Yeah, can't ask KSI until Friday.
Right, until it's
Yeah,
approved.
Okay.
yeah.
What retailer, do we have a retailer that we're going to?
Retailer for what?
For fertilizer? That's usually who submits.
We were just gonna go through
cash rent.
KSI.
Okay, straight, okay.
I mean, that's what we were gonna do last year.
Well, I suppose you'd have to bid that out, the limestone. Is that what you mean?
No, just the testing.
Oh, it's under, well, it's under,
It's well out of the bid threshold, yeah.
it's under threshold, so you just go do it, I think. It's a KSI, you've already got that on the agenda, so. Right?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
That's a retailer.
Okay. Are we done with that one? Okay, discuss hiring out mowing of the county cemetery. I didn't think the cemetery got mowed enough last year because it only got mowed twice and everything else got mowed, and I think it needs to be, it needs to look good for all the people that are buried out there. It just needs to look good. So I have asked, there's a young man who does a lot of yard work and mowing, Peyton Bryant, and he gave us a bid of $35 each time he does it. He's also a volunteer fireman. And he probably travels, it's, from here, it's like 4.5 miles out there. From where he lives, it's probably 5.5 miles or something. So he's traveling, say, 10, 12 miles out there and mowing, and would just send us a bill every month. We could say do it once a month, twice. I don't think it needs to be done every week. But,
He's not making any money.
not a lot. We just need to tell him, or ask him if he would do it, say, twice a week,
Twice a month, you
or, I
mean?
mean, twice a month. And then just send us a bill at the end of the month, and we get it done, and
Yeah, you just have to make that an agenda item on the big,
Yeah.
on full board.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I mean, you're just discussing, you're not voting on this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that Thursday night.
okay. But I don't think we have to get bids from anybody else. I mean,
Well,
it's such a low amount.
It's under it's less than
Yes.
$30,000,
I
so
mean,
it's
well,
under.
I mean, it might be 500 or something by the end of the year if you go through.
Yeah, that doesn't need bid.
Okay, any old business? Okay. Any new business?
Well, I would just recommend that you put that cover crop on there as a contingency plan,
Yeah.
because we don't want weeds out there, so we gotta have a contingency plan of some kind. So put that on the big board meeting, or push it before, or whatever.
And if you want, put the taxes on Thursday.
Any other new business?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Have a comment? You got
Public
anything?
body comment again? Anybody have anything to say?
I've got a question. Didn't the board talk about the KSI and the soil testing last year, and we didn't approve it last year? Is that?
We
They
skipped
didn't even get a
over.
vote.
It got pulled.
Yeah, it got pulled because they decided not to farm, and so if we weren't gonna farm, why spend the money to soil test? So they pulled it from the agenda. We didn't even vote on it,
Okay,
yeah.
I knew we talked about it.
But it's kind of good that we have the same bids that we had last year. Yeah. Any other public body comment? Jeff?
What's your public purpose? We've heard the two of you growl about it for the last year and 5 months or more. What's your public
Well, there
purpose?
really isn't a good public purpose out there, Jeff. There is no, of the use of the land, there's no public purpose there, other than what's listed in the, I'll find it here again. Pretty weak public purpose. It says, whereas the Shelby County Board has a desire to ensure proper maintenance, care, and practice wise stewardship of all county-owned properties while ensuing a positive relationship with all adjacent, nearby landowners of the Shelby County Poor Farm. So that's all we got. Unless you want to put a structure out there, you want to put a park district out there, if you
I
want to.
just asked a question.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, we've looked at options, we've even looked at IDNR options of IRAP, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through. But it can be done, but the county's a loser. I mean, you can't make no money on that. Doesn't have to go through 501c3 to be able to do that.
And 55 ILCS 5-5-1045.2 says
Just
it
go ahead and read
removes
it.
the requirement that the lease must be for a specified purpose.
Right.
Read that again. What is that? What did you read?
That is the law.
It's the 55 ILCS,
Go ahead and read it.
That's the bill summary.
the whole thing, or just that part?
Is that the actual law?
No, that's the summary.
It's the,
I got it
you have the actual law.
on, I got it on my phone.
It says it removes the requirement that the lease must be for a
That
specified
ain't,
purpose.
that's not the
Yeah,
law.
that was the summary of the amendment that they made to the bill in, I think, the
Oh,
Senate.
read the actual.
But now the statute amended in order of appearance is 55 ILCS.
Right,
It's not
which-
HB 1076.
This is what, and this ordinance was drafted according to everything in this here, 55 ILCS 5/5-10.40, 1049.2. Lease of county property. The county board may lease real estate acquired or held by the county for the term not exceeding 99 years and may lease the real estate when, in the opinion of the county board, the real estate is no longer necessary, appropriate, required for the use of, profitable to, or for the best interest of the county. The authority to lease shall be exercised by an ordinance passed by a 3/4 vote, or 3/4 of the full county board then holding office at any regular meeting or any special meeting called for that purpose. Notwithstanding subjection, upon 3/4 vote by the full county board, the county board may lease farmland acquired or held by the county for any term not exceeding 5 years. Farmland may be leased to either public or private entities via a cash land crop sharing arrangements or custom farming arrangements. The bid process for a lease entered into under this subject section must be publicly advertised and sealed bid, or sealed bids must be opened at the county board meeting for public review. County shall not acquire farmland for sole purpose, blah, 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 cash land. So can't buy, county can't go out and buy land for the purpose of farming.
So after what he just read there, the bid process for a lease entered into under this subsection must be publicly advertised and sealed bids must be opened at a county board meeting. So they do have to be opened at a county board meeting. It can't be opened in committee.
Right.
And that should not
So
be
we
that
have-
way, but that's.
Huh?
That's what it
That
says.
shouldn't be that way, that's committee work, but
Yeah,
that's.
and they changed it from what it was to the
Yeah,
ILCS.
it's
So we'll just have to, we'll change it on the bid form that we'll have to have a special board meeting. Because we can't wait till May the 10th to decide. That's, we can have a special board meeting April the 30th, or I guess I have to ask Bobby first.
And I'm not texting anybody, so everybody can rest assured I'm not doing that. I'm looking for something to read.
But while you're looking, I've got a question.
Go ahead.
What was the name of the person who was going to do the mowing?
Peyton Bryant.
Peyton Bryant. He's not like, there wouldn't be a conflict. He's not like related to anybody who,
On the board.
or other elected official or something. I mean, I just want to make sure that that's all above board and that kind of thing.
He is.
You related? Oh, maybe, I don't know.
Well, it wasn't, it was just a discussion item, so it'll be on the agenda Thursday night for approval. And that should probably be made transparent, like it probably should have been tonight.
Let's see. I want to read what I found a couple weeks ago. If I can find, here it is. This is the section 1 of Article 8 of the Constitution. Now, listen, Jake, hold on. This is the how you say that, annotated version. And I'll have to turn it this way to read it. There's a phrase in there that talks about.
Gonna make it?
Yeah, probably not, but
Isn't that what's on the paper?
Oh, yeah, go ahead and read that, would you?
Got it correct. The blue highlighted?
Yep.
The fact that some benefits will flow to private organizations does not make expenditures unconstitutional if the expenditures serve a public purpose.
That's what I want to read.
Yeah. So in other words, when you buy seed to farm the county farm, a private company makes profit
Makes profit.
from selling you the seed, or the fertilizer, or the fuel, or the equipment.
Or the farmer.
Or the farmhouse, or the farmer.
Or the farmer.
That is incidental. That's, I believe the word the court has used, I think that came from a court case. If it's incidental, that's one thing, as long as it serves a public purpose, the end result. But just the act of farming the farm is the whole point. It's not incidental, it's the whole point. And so to the public purpose question, it's the use of the land. And so the public purpose for growing wheat, corn, and beans, or whatever crop you plant out there, it does not directly benefit the public.
Oh, yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Does it?
Jeremy,
I mean, you grow corn,
Mm-hmm.
the corn goes to the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
then, I mean, it goes to canning places, it feeds people.
Mhm.
Everything that is grown on the farm feeds people. If farmers quit farming,
Mm-hmm.
where would we get our food?
But-
China?
But we're not
That's a
talking,
public purpose.
we're not talking about farmers farming, we're talking about the county going into private business.
That's not private
It's
business.
not a private business.
It's not?
It's not a private business.
How is it not?
How is it?
Because farming is a private business. Farmers prove that every spring and every fall.
Jeremy, would you like to file a complaint against Ford County and tell them they can't farm once they voted to farm? If you don't want to, then none of this means anything. We did for years, we gave money to the county to use for a public purpose. At least 24 other counties are doing the same thing. You can't stop any of them, and neither can your friend. But you can't stop them, and you can't tell us how you will stop them, then it doesn't really mean anything. Ford County voted to farm. Clerk told them they couldn't do that. They voted to farm and did it anyway. I mean, I don't understand where you're coming from. Go file a complaint.
And the sale of the crop produces a revenue which takes care of government.
Mm-hmm. But that is, what the government does with that money has to be a public purpose, and I'm sure it would be. But there's a difference between what you do with the revenue from the sale of the crop and what you do with the actual property itself. And I think that's actually in this that Mitch printed off too, because I've read this before. And if I can find it, I believe, because this came from page, what was it, 126 or 7 or of that annotated version. Well, I'll see if I can find it, but I believe it says the use to which the land is put must benefit the public. So what the money goes to is one thing, but what the land itself is used for is another. And some examples would be, well, the courthouse. There are meetings and proceedings. There are records stored here, public records. There are trainings. You can come here and do your business with the county. That's obviously a public purpose. The sheriff's department has a lot of that same stuff except for the meetings, but they also house dangerous criminals to protect the public. That's obviously a public purpose. The highway department exists to build and maintain roads and bridges, and they have a facility and grounds to store their tools and equipment and their supplies. That's obviously a public purpose because any member of the public can drive over any of those roads and bridges. But the growing of wheat, corn, or beans, or whatever crop out there on the farm, the use to which the land would be put then does not directly serve the public. I
And
just,
that's your opinion, and I have mine.
and I understand that.
Jeremy, would you consider county funds being property of Shelby County and a farm being property of Shelby County?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Would you consider county funds being a property of Shelby County?
County funds,
County-
all the money in.
County funds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you consider a farm being a property of Shelby County?
It is a property of Shelby County.
Shelby County, okay. So you seem as lease funds to the bank to draw in, or does the bank serve a public purpose with that? Isn't that a private enterprise that you're giving your money to?
It is private, but
You're leasing that just like you're leasing ground, you're getting paid to do it.
it is private.
There is no difference.
It is private, but it's also allowed for under the Investment Act.
Jeremy, don't you understand the new law and what it says, and don't you think that the laws change? And are you saying this law has no meaning? It says we do not need a public purpose.
It does
It
not,
says we
it
don't
does
have
not
to
say
have a
that we don't
specific
need a public
purpose.
purpose.
Yes,
No,
it
no, it
It
doesn't.
says we don't need a specific purpose.
Correct, and
Correct.
that's just like, I
So
think,
that's, I mean, it doesn't need a specific purpose to,
but that's not what a public purpose
You're
is.
talking in circles.
and that's,
You-
there
What,
again, it's your opinion and my opinion.
what that means is like the previous board, or maybe it's 2 boards ago now, was considering setting the profit from the farm aside for things like courthouse maintenance, and that would be a public purpose. But like with
You can't read the law
Like
that says we
with-
don't need a specific purpose.
Jay,
the income from the farm we talked about earlier has to go in the general fund. It can't be segregated into its own fund for its own thing. It has to go in the general fund, the same great big pot, indistinguishable funds.
we'll see if we can get that changed.
You want to try to put it in its own fund? That would solve a thing or
See if
two.
we can get that changed.
That would probably require another law change,
Yeah.
But you can't tell us how you would stop us, can you? If we farm it, can you tell me how you would stop it? Would you file a complaint with the sheriff or the state police? Or you don't have any authority, and Mr. Kirk Allen doesn't have any authority. You would have to have someone with authority to tell us we can't farm. And I'm not sure where you're going to find that authority. If you think you can, then let's take it to court.
Okay.
But you can't stop anyone, because you don't have any power. You don't have any authority. You have to find someone with the legal authority to stop. And you don't know who that is. I don't even.
Be called a judge, it'd be called a judge.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys trying to farm. I think that's great. I have to admire Mitchell for pushing this to farm. I think you voted for some things here that I'm proud of you to vote for. But I don't know why you keep talking about this same thing over and over again when you can't prove anything.
Okay.
No one in Shelby County has been proven as guilty of anything, Jeremy.
Okay, your time's up, Jay.
Legal, you can't tell that.
Christine's had her hand up for the last 15 minutes, so I gotta.
Okay, this is from lmiga.gov, so it is the progression of how this worked as it was a House bill. And the way I was taught in school was you go to the Public Act and you go backwards. And usually you go back to the beginning and you can see all the changes that were made on the target, right? Jeremy should get that. Okay, so the synopsis is introduced. It amends the county's code, provides that notwithstanding other specified county property leasing provisions upon majority vote, the county board may lease farmland acquired or held by the county for any term not exceeding 99 years. Provides that farmland may be leased to either public or private entities for the public purpose of financially supporting the operations of the government at any time or times and on any terms and conditions the county board deems best for the interest of the county, including but not limited to crop sharing arrangements, effective immediately. The amendment after that provides that upon 3/4 vote, rather than a majority vote, the county board may lease farmland acquired or held by the county for any term not exceeding 5 years rather than 99. So we started with 99. They said, hey, if it's supporting the operations of the county, that is its purpose. Agreed? We go to the next statement. Then we get to Senate Floor Amendment number 1. This is
Can I ask a quick question
Sure.
on that past reading? Who wrote that, or what was that?
It's on ILCS.
It's
I
on
don't know, but who's the author of that, or is it given author?
It's right here. It's on.
So
Yeah,
the
no.
Senate floor amendment number 1
We chose to send this to the.
reinserts the
It's-
provisions
Yeah, no.
of the engrossed bill with the following changes. So they went back and forth, they argued what they want to change. Removes the requirement that the county board may authorize any county officer to make leases for terms not exceeding 2 years in a manner determined by the board. And provisions relating to leasing farmland provides that upon 3/4 vote by the full county board rather than 3/4 vote, the county board may lease farmland acquired or held by the county for any term not exceeding 5 years, removes the requirement the lease must be for a specified purpose, provides that the lease may be made by a cash lease, crop sharing arrangement, or custom farming arrangement, adds requirements relating to the bid process for farmland leases, provides that county shall not acquire farmland for the sole purpose of entering into a cash lease, crop sharing arrangement, or custom farming arrangement, or other speculative purposes. Right after that, it was passed into law, 1030415. When you look at a law, you have to go backwards and see the progression of the law to understand what was there to begin with, and as they went through the different meetings, what they said, we won't agree to that. What we have now, they removed that specified purpose. The term public purpose isn't in the new law, and the reason is what I just read to you on my website. They go through a process where I want this, we'll agree to that. I want this, we'll agree to that. And what we got removed those requirements. That is the law. I'd be happy to text it to you. But this is the law. It's not a joke. It's not somebody's theory. It's not from a 1939 textbook. This is the way that it worked through our legislator, what they voted on, what they took out, added in, and agreed to. And that's how we got to the law we have now.
And I understand that, and I'm sure that the law that we have now has some benefits. I'm sure it has some effectiveness, I should say. But two things. First of all, when they debated, or when they read the bill right before they approved it, the final reading of the bill, one senator asked another if he was trying to change the Constitution with it. And he said, no, counties will still have to follow the constitutional requirement for public purpose. That's what he said, and it's on video. That was the
It's not in writing. That's the law, Jeremy.
And also, I will say that no law changes or transcends the Constitution.
And is it our job as Shelby County to argue the Constitution?
It's our job to understand.
Answer the question, yes or no. Is
Yes.
it your job as a board member to argue the validity or constitutionality of a law that's presented by the state?
Yes.
Really? That's new.
Yeah.
Because nobody else has got into this gig for that.
So you're saying after
You're
a
telling us that you
unanimous
get to choose
decision,
the
all
law.
these senators and representatives was dead ass wrong?
Of which
No.
a third are attorneys.
No. What I'm saying is the laws that you have must fit within the framework of the Constitution.
And they're not fit to determine that?
What's that?
They're not fit to determine that since like 30% of them are attorneys themselves? You don't think they know?
I can't.
And it's
tell you
your
what
job to
they
tell
fit.
them it's wrong.
I
I don't see a JD ever behind your name, Jerry. I
This
think
is
you
the
just need to
law,
go
and
with
it's
what's
not
presented.
that until some judge decides this isn't the law. And it hasn't been in court. If it goes to court, then a judge says this can't be done, and it's voted on, that's a different story.
And then they would issue a ruling to us and tell us what we need to do.
I think
Right
we might
now,
should have
this
done
is
that.
the law,
Okay,
and
one
somebody
person at
can
a
talk
time.
all you want.
I think we might should have done exactly that a few years ago. I think you're exactly right.
I didn't hear that.
Tim, you had your hand up.
My problem is that what you're saying is that the federal government then is breaking the law by having leases for lumber and minerals and things like that. Because it's, that's not a public purpose for the ground. A lot of
Leases,
this, they lease for logging all the time, mineral leases and things like that to different companies. I mean,
see, I would have to look into that like I've looked into this, and I haven't looked into those kinds of leases. And I honestly feel like Washington's awfully far away, but the courthouse is right here close to
So
home.
hear me from what you're saying, if I have a business and I make money in the business and I pay property taxes to the county, they can't use that money because it wasn't created with a public purpose.
No, that is absolutely a public purpose. But we're way off in the weeds
It's
here.
the same thing.
Okay.
Well, I did email Yadnock, oh gosh, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, or probably longer than that, actually.
I mean, hundreds of government agencies rent thousands of acres of ground every year.
We
All
just,
over
okay.
Illinois.
we just
all over
unanimously
Yeah,
sent this to the
it's
board.
okay.
Why are we
Anybody
arguing
else,
this?
anybody else have public body comment?
Didn't we already have public comment?
Tricia? We did. but-
I've got a question. Basically, what you're saying is, the farm bill they passed doesn't fall within the Constitution. That's what you're saying. It's not constitutional what they passed.
No, actually, what I'm saying is whatever application of the law we decide must fit within the Constitution. I'm sure that there are applications of the law that would fit within the Constitution.
But you're saying as it, that you don't believe the act itself, it doesn't, it's in the law that it removes the public purpose.
No, it does not remove.
In the
Yes,
Illinois
it
law.
does.
No, it doesn't. It says, the bill summary says you don't have to have a specific public purpose. That's like when the last board, or 2 boards ago, looked at setting aside the revenue for courthouse maintenance as a public purpose. That would be a public purpose, but they couldn't set the money aside. It had to go in the general fund. And that's only a public purpose for the money, not for the property. I don't understand why we're arguing this. We just unanimously sent this to the full
We'll
board.
let the board decide on Thursday night. I do want to say, I did reach out to Lance Yednoff not too long ago, and he said that the law says you can farm the property. It isn't against the law unless the Supreme Court says it is. And that's what he told me.
And if it were, they would let us know.
But I emailed Yadnoff and he said he's not a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's an opinion.
Yeah.
That's just another opinion.
But
We got-
30% of
we
our
have
legislators
100 I'm
aren't.
talking. We have 100 opinions out here. None of them are absolute right and none of them are absolute wrong. Until a judge decides this case, if there ever was a case to be brought, we're still running on opinions, whether you like it or not. And they did not completely fix this. If they were going to change the law, they should have changed the Constitution. Period. And the problem would be fixed.
Yes.
You know, in our oath, when you take your oath, you'll uphold the
And we'll farm
Constitution.
that farm.
No, you're not listening. You're not listening to that.
You take an oath to uphold the Constitution, both of the country and of the state.
Exactly.
And so that is our job, yes.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Got a motion to adjourn in a second. Thank you all for coming. Board meeting Thursday night. We'll find out what the big board wants to do.
Are we going to vote?
You got a
Oh,
vote?
got a vote. Okay, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We did that. Yes. My notes are all